Summer routines live or die by how easy they are, and honestly, if something takes too much effort, I'm out. That's why Groons is my go-to. It's my one daily pack of gummies covering my greens, vitamins, and minerals. Plus, it has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber, which is more than 2 cups of broccoli. No mixing powders, no giant pills, no hassle. I just rip open the pack and I'm done. They taste good and they make it easy to stay on top of my health, even when life gets busy. Save up to 52% with the code PODCAST at Groons.co. That's code PODCAST at GRUNS.co.
Welcome back to TalkNorth.com. Thank you for listening. If you can, please download before you listen. It helps our business. I'd also like to thank our producer, Brandon Morton, and let you know if you'd like to sponsor this program or any of the programs on the network. You can reach me at jsouhan47@gmail.com. TalkNorth.com is powered by Bite Squad. Go to bitesquad.com or download their app. Get food to your door in minutes. Use the promo code TalkNorth to get your first delivery free. Talk North gets you your first delivery free.
This is a typical Russo story.
Welcome to Delano's for the Russo-Souhan Show. You know, Michael, I've had a lot of compliments on last week's show, which was a studio show, and they said you were great, and it made me think, man, you know, I need to start listening to these shows.
Yeah, I know. You weren't very attentive last week.
I had stuff to do.
You just were listening to me yell.
I just kind of give the topic to you, and then I get my work done while you rant away.
The most shocking part of last week's podcast is I didn't make Brandon buzz anything out.
That is shocking.
Yeah.
Because what happens, if y'all don't know, is we do the show. Michael says 8 times, he goes, I shouldn't say this, but. And then he regrets it an hour later. He calls Brandon. He tries to get Brandon to take it out. And then the cool thing is Brandon says, I'll take it out. Brandon doesn't take it out, and we all move on.
Look how good that pizza looks on the Delano's website.
I just actually had a Delano's pizza. They have gluten-free pizza, which I have to have, unfortunately, because of my allergies, my glutenism, and it was really good. And I know everybody, all of our regulars who show up all the time, they always order dinner here. It's a great place. One of the reasons we're doing a show live at Delano's is because we want to make sure people know about Delano's in downtown Minneapolis, 118 North 4th Street, right by Ramp C. It has its own parking lot right next to it. It's usually parking out front. Easy walking to Target Field, Target Center, local music scenes. And, of course, you can just come in here and watch all the big screens. We love this place. It's been great to us. We do appreciate their business. And to let you know, if you want to do us a solid, Delano's a solid, the network a solid, order Delano's Pizza through Bite Squad. We have a deal with Bite Squad. I have a bunch of business cards up here with the promo code printed on them. I handed a few out as well around the bar. If you use the promo code TalkNorth at bitesquad.com or the Bite Squad app, you get free delivery. I've used it to order Delano's Pizza, and the cool thing is it shows up and it looks just like it would look if you got it delivered to your table here. They take very good care of it. There's no cheese is misplaced. It's perfect. So go to bitesquad.com, order whatever you like. We prefer Delano's. Promo code TalkNorth. And you'll get free delivery, and it will also help us out. I appreciate it.
Plus, I did it the other day, and I got a $20 coupon that you can give to a friend, and then I just got an email from Bite Squad with another free code for free delivery. So I think you get on their list.
Excellent.
So that's good.
So go down that road. Before we get started here, I want to thank our other sponsors, Twill and the Edina Galleria, WizKids.tech, FixologyRepair.com, and Tony Hoagland, your State Farm agent in Champlin. Let's start with real games on tap. Are you excited?
Yeah, I am excited. I'm excited to get on a plane I'm a lot more excited to get on the plane for Denver tomorrow than I was the other day for Denver, and I'm like, why am I going to this game? You know, just because it was a meaningless preseason game where nobody really was playing. Well, actually, that's not true. I mean, they played Granlund and Niederreiter and a couple other guys, but it just, you just knew that. I mean, let's put it this way. Even Landeskog, McKinnon, and Rantanen didn't want to be there. I even asked Bruce about that today. Like, what do you do against them on Thursday that, you know, maybe make them look the way they did the other day? And he's like, well, I think they'll be trying on Thursday. So that's how bad they were the other night. But yeah, I am looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to see how this team goes. I mean, first 2 games, not an easy way to start the season. Home against Vegas on Saturday, and then in Colorado to open the season on Thursday. But there does seem to be this overall negativity around the league right now with the so-called experts talking about this team already writing the Wild off. And I think we all forget that they were one of the best home teams in the NHL last year. They had the 8th most points in the league last year. 2 years ago, they had the 2nd most points in the West, and yet, here they are returning the same team, and yet everybody just thinks that they're going to suddenly. I mean, I think USA Today picked them like last or second to last.
Really?
The Wild aren't lucky enough to finish last.
They can never get that high draft pick.
No, if they're going to miss the playoffs, they're going to be 17th. So it's just that's just to me absurd unless they have a crazy amount of injuries. Luckily, as of now, they got out of training camp relatively healthy. Cunnin looks really good on the ice to me, and shouldn't be long. I think he'll still go to Iowa at some point here. And I'm ready to stop writing about nothing.
Like I said, you are my favorite Seinfeld character, and this is a show about nothing. So where does that negativity come from? Because here's the thing: I understand fan frustration with this team's not going to win a cup this year, but this has been a consistent playoff team.
Yeah, no, I think first of all, the Wild always seem to be a preseason, a glamorous preseason, missed the playoff pick. And once in a while, 1 year, the so-called experts are going to get it right and then say, oh, you see, I was smart. I picked them to finish out of the playoffs when they do it every single year. And yet the Wild, again, it's a broken record, but they've made the playoffs 6 years in a row and have that's the second longest streak in the league, tied with Anaheim, only behind Pittsburgh, who's won a couple cups in that stretch. So where's the negativity come from? I think it's many things. I think a lot of people do look at this roster as being vanilla. They don't have the stars. I think a lot of people are looking at, all right, they return the same core again, so maybe they're going to get as bored in the room with each other as maybe the pundits are with them. And then I do think that a lot of teams are just looking at them as a lot of experts are looking at them as an aging roster, at least the guys on the tippy top of the age spectrum. And then the other big thing is that you look around the conference and a lot of teams have improved. I mean, Edmonton should be better. Was last year the aberration or was 2 years ago when they were unbelievable the aberration? Calgary should be better. Arizona should be much better. St. Louis, on paper, better. I caution, the thing with St. Louis is that we all last year, it's like the more moves you make in the offseason, the more the experts are like, well, they're going to be so much better. But we thought the same thing about Dallas 2 years ago, or last season. It didn't happen. LA adds Kovalchuk. Again, there's just a lot of reasons to like a lot of teams in this conference. So I think that people just look at somebody's going to have to miss the playoffs if teams that didn't make it last year, like Arizona, St. Louis, Calgary, those teams make it, and so people are just kind of picking on the Wild right now. Colorado should be better. I mean, their second line should be much better than they were last year, and I don't think they're just going to be a one-line team. And Dallas, again, should be better. These are the teams that didn't make the playoffs in the division last year. Colorado did, but again, I think that they're just only on the rise.
We shouldn't do, I know why we all do predictions in our business. Mm-hmm. Either we shouldn't do them or we should have like a 5-paragraph disclaimer on top of everyone, because none of us can predict the future. And what I don't like is when somebody questions your credibility because you were asked to make a prediction. You make the prediction. We make predictions knowing we're probably going to be wrong, because you can't predict injuries, the flow of a season, other personnel moves, how good other teams are going to be. It's an impossible task.
And fans love them. I mean, it's funny.
They eat them up.
You see NHL.com, ESPN, when those teams, we're doing it now at The Athletic, when those writers do power rankings. Oh my God, if you're a fan of a team that they feel got slighted, they just lose their minds. And when it's not like a group of 25 experts in a meeting with computers trying to figure it out. You know how I did The Athletic power ranking the other day? While I was lying on the couch watching CNN, it took me 1 minute. I picked all 31 teams in a drop-down menu in 1 minute. That's how much I spent actually thinking about it. I'm just like, 1, 2. Oh no, I picked that team 2. Okay, I'll make it 3. That's the way it works. And so, But it is funny when you're right. I remember the 1 year I picked Boston and Vancouver in the Stanley Cup final. I was letting everybody. And then the next year, when I two teams that missed the playoffs, Chris Miller, my editor at the Strib, let everybody know. Took a little screen capture of my predictions and put it out there.
I remember when the Giants upset the Bills and beat them by 1 point in the Super Bowl, and it was like a huge upset. I actually picked that exactly right by 1 point. And I had to go around telling people, like friends of mine, don't think I know what I'm doing. Don't bet any money on my picks. I just got really lucky.
Yeah. The cool thing now is that we really I'm not coming out. We did a kind of an athletic our team of writers, 30 or 40 something of us did our kind of overall predictions, and they did it analytically and they put up today, but I'm not doing a separate here's Russo's 1 through 15 tomorrow in the Athletic, so that'll be my excuse, is that I didn't do them. I would have picked that team, though. Tampa versus Winnipeg. Done.
All right, we have a prediction that we can make fun of you later with.
Yep.
Thanks to producer Brandon Morton. If you'd like to sponsor this program or any of the other programs across the growing network, you can reach me at jsouhan47@gmail.com. Please download before you listen if you can. It's a better listening experience, better for our business as well. Also, we've started up another show that has some hockey mixed into it. Kevin Gorg, Dan Myers, both hockey personalities, but also big into fantasy sports, gambling, all those other things, and college hockey and high school hockey. They've started a show called Frozen Fantasy, and as we grow our network, we're always looking for new sponsors, new advertisers. With a startup show like Kevin's, you can get in really cheap, and he can reach a large audience both with his social media and his listenership.
Plus, those guys are really cheap.
And yeah, they are cheap guys. That's what we're trying to say.
They had Doobie on the other day. That was good.
Yeah, they had Dubnik on.
And that's the cool part of their show, is it is going to be very different than ours. Ours, yes. Jim just listens to me speak, and they're going to actually talk to interesting people.
Yeah. How do I get on that show?
Yeah, I know. Actually, let's not say that. We don't want their sponsors bailing to their show.
Good point. Yeah. So if you'd like to sponsor that program, let me know. Also, thanks again to Delano's Pizza. Again, 118 North 4th Street. They also have a place in Woodbury, so you can order from either the Minneapolis or the Woodbury. You can go to either place, or you can use Bite Squad to order from either place, I believe. And again, the Bite Squad code is Talk North. It's one word, and that will get you free delivery on your first order. Also want to thank
a great name.
Which one? Talk North?
Podcast.
Talk North?
Yeah. You only had 5 names before until you got it right, but that's
I'm not even sure I got it right, but I'm just tired of changing it, so we're going to stick with it.
Yeah.
And also thank you to our primary sponsor, Twill, in the Dining Galleria, Scott Dayton's shop. I'm wearing this shirt that I got at Twill today. My slogan, if it looks good on me, it's got to look good on somebody else.
Okay. Good slogan.
All right. That's all I got.
Flows off the tongue.
Yeah. Maybe it's not as good as I thought it was. Kind of like all the names of my networks.
Jim usually doesn't like to shop for clothes. I don't like it when he shops for clothes either, because he used to buy stuff I'd want to throw out. That's why I'm so glad he's found Twill in the Edina Galleria. He likes shopping there because of the comfortable environment and the friendly staff. He finds clothes that actually fit him properly and are high-quality brands that will look great for years, whether he's golfing or working. Our favorites so far are Peter Millar, Johnny O, and Barber. We spend our money at Twill because we love the clothes and we love the no-pressure shopping. Drop by Twill in the Edina Galleria for the best shopping experience and best clothes you'll find in the Twin Cities.
It's I will say, everybody with the Wild and even the fans that are all down on them right now. It's I was reading somebody on Twitter today that's a blogger, and all he does daily is just bash the Wild, bash and bash and bash, same team. Look, if you're only going to watch a team because they're going to be the Stanley Cup championship, you're going to be left most of the time disappointed in any sport. The goal still of professional sports is to be entertained. And, say what you want about the Wild, but they were one of the best home teams in the league last year. They scored a bunch. They do have some fun players to watch. Let them lose a couple before, you're just, can I say it, Brandon? I won't say it. I'll just go crapping on them. It's insane to me. Yeah, I know. It's nuts to me. Just already the negativity. I think for my own sanity, the block and the mute button is going to be good this year. So,
how's Bruce's mood?
Bruce is good. Although, he's good.
What are you about to say that you shouldn't say?
No. He read a tweet of mine today that he didn't like, and I think he thought that I was saying that he said it when it wasn't somebody else that said it, and it was a whole misunderstanding. But all good. It's he's fine. I mean, we'll find out how he feels at 10:25 local time on Thursday. If McKinnon lights them up for the fifth straight game or whatever. I mean, we'll see. But right now, I think everybody's anxious. I was talking to Koivu today, and it's funny. He's like, man, training camp is so long. It feels like it's lasting forever. Then you hit that first practice today, and you're like, oh my God, it's right here. And yes, you get kind of nervous that here we go, the grind is about to begin. And it's funny. I was telling him that when I first started covering the league, I mean, training camp used to be 25, 26 days. The one get that the players keep on getting on all these lockouts is shorter training camps. That's kind of like the one every year we'll lock them out, but we'll give you 2 less days. And so it's just a really short training camp compared to where it used to be. It sometimes it feels like it flies. I remember when I first started covering the league, you'd actually spend your first week writing about prospects because you needed something to kind of hold you over so you had enough stories to write later in camp. And now it's like, you barely hit on the prospects. Like, I'd love to sit there and waste time in training camp and do stories on some of these minor leaguers that actually are great personalities and things like that. But, you really got to hit the ground running with writing about the team.
It's funny, the NFL is going through this massive debate. Would you rather have quarterbacks upright, healthy, and producing huge numbers, or would you rather have violence in the game where people can hit them as hard as they want? Mm-hmm. And ratings are up, quarterbacks are playing great, passing numbers are up, and you still have some traditionalists saying, hey, I still want to see the quarterback's head crushed twice a game. Is that correlated to what hockey has been through with trying to figure out what the right amount of violence in the game is?
Well, I think that the one thing, it's such a different league that when the Tom Wilson thing happens the other day, you just start to that to me is why it's such a huge story, is because years ago that stuff used to happen all the time. Right. So it just, Scott's, I mean, now it's the friendly league. Nino the other night was skating through the middle of the ice. It was either him skating or somebody else. It was him skating into the offensive zone in Colorado, and somebody was coming at him, and it was actually Zadorov. I'm like, oh my God, and it's Zadorov, who's one of their hardest hitting, some would say borderline defensemen, and he pulls up. And years ago, Scott Stevens would have made Nino, he would have sent him into Fort Collins. And and so that's why the thing the other night with the Tom Wilson play, it's kind of like the same thing. And I do think that these players now, it is the no-hitting league. Some of these guys, when they start across east-west along the blue line, they don't get crushed. And, I still think that there's a place, if you hit them cleanly, that, if you carry the puck in that center ice, you should expect to get hit. But this league is much different than it used to be from that standpoint. But I also think that in terms of the one thing that I think the league has done a really good job of is gotten rid of the egregious headshots. Now when you see the Tom Wilson play, when you see the Rafi Torres type of plays, it's such a newsworthy thing. And that's why sometimes I know a lot of times I kind of sound like an apologist for the Department of Player Safety, and I get that everybody thinks that they throw darts at the wall with terms of supplemental discipline and things like that. But their job is to improve the safety in the NHL. And by them going after the Rule 48, and by them going after and getting these guys to stop hitting in the head, they've pretty much eliminated that from the game. And I think that's a good thing. And and I do think fans want it. Sometimes, though, I mean, it was interesting with the Adam Thielen thing the other day. Mm-hmm. Oh my God! Just reading Twitter, I immediately went when the refs took him out of the game, or when actually the concussion protocol people called down to the refs to take him out of the game. Fans were going bonkers. Yep. And I'm like, these are the same fans that are proponents of making sure these guys don't become vegetables when they're 40 and 50 and 60 years old.
I'm not sure they're the same. I think there are fans out there who think that violence is the price you pay for playing football, and they're okay with the players getting hurt badly. I think there's I tell you what, the Twitter responses I get anytime I write about player safety is basically, don't put. Yeah. I won't even repeat the kind of stuff, but the attitude is, I want my violence. Yeah. Screw the rest.
I get it. I do think that it's funny. I just not head stuff, but there's a player on the Vikings that's a stud for them that I've become friendly with. And he's a young person And when he walks like he's 55 years old. And I'm just like, what is this guy going to be in 5, 6, 7 years? And that's that. I'm not talking head stuff with him. I'm talking about legs.
Yeah.
Just getting up out of a chair and watching him walk across the room. And that's the type of thing that I think the most fans should see, and would realize that that's not something to celebrate if these guys have short careers because they got see their violence.
That's the thing. I mean, I started covering the Vikings in 1990, and I know a lot of the guys I covered back then, and it's remarkable when you find one who doesn't have health problems. It's like I see John Randall. I'm like, my God, you're like you used to look. And you're walking around, you're playing golf. That's great. But man, he's the exception.
Yeah.
He's absolutely the exception.
He's a beauty. That guy. I finally met him at my charity wiffle ball game.
Cool.
Over Labor Day weekend, and what a
John's a good dude.
Yeah, what a beaut.
Absolutely. Let's thank WizKids.tech. Michael Thannert's local company, not very far from here. It's another great Minnesota company we work with and we can vouch for. Let WizKids.tech, WHIZKIDS.tech, be your chief technology ally.
Hello, Minnesota sports fans. This is Michael Thanner, founder and CEO of WizKids. WizKids is a Minneapolis-based managed IT, hosted VoIP, and cloud services provider. Businesses today require fast response times, skilled support staff, clear communication, and technology recommendations that align with their business goals. At WizKids, we do this each and every day with our clients. When you call into our help desk for support or work with one of our higher-level engineers on a complex issue, you'll find our staff personable and ready to roll up their sleeves to help you solve your technology problems. Reach out to WizKids today to find out how we can help your business meet your technology goals. Visit us online at WizKids.tech. That's WizKids.tech. WizKids, make it happen.
Somebody mentioned pickle pizza earlier, Michael.
Oh, nice.
I think it was Vicky. And she was saying we thought of you.
Nice. Yeah, I should. That sounds like right up my alley. Actually, that sounds terrible.
Maybe drip a little candle wax on it to be perfect for you. Give me an idea of lineups. I don't want you to go through the whole thing, but just what should we be interested in?
Well, I mean, same lineup to start the season as day one of training camp, which never happens, right? The only real change is that on Thursday night, there's no doubt in my mind that J.T. Brown will not be playing and Matt Hendricks will, although that might have happened anyway. Bruce just loves Matt. And the other thing that Bruce remembers is he still genuinely believes that the other night when Zadorov was running around, when Hendricks took a run at him and then tried to basically go with him, that changed the game, and the Wild were able to rally back from a couple goals down and force overtime in that game. That game, by the way, was not nearly as bad as the shot clock made it look, even early. If the Wild were playing with their 6D that were going to be in, they didn't play really with any of their D that are going to be in the lineup Thursday. If you consider that Jonas Brodin and Matt Dumba were like in another world that game, it was as bad as you'll ever see them play. Like every shift in the second and third period, it was remarkable, to the point that Bruce even said after the game, I couldn't even put them together on the ice anymore. It was just that much of a disaster. So hopefully that'll change, although those two never seem to play well. Not to go off on an aside, but those two never seem to play well in Colorado. The whole show's an aside.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's cool. But Zucker, Stahl, Granlund, Parisi, Koivu, Niederreiter, Eriksson Ek, Greenway, and Charlie Coyle. Although Greenway missed practice today because he's ill, but the entire team is ill right now. And then they'll go Foligno, Fair, and Hendricks and Fair can take draws on the fourth line. JT will be the extra. Then it'll be Suter and Dumba, Spurgeon and Brodin, and opposite there, Brodin and Spurgeon, and then Sealer and Patterin. Prosser will be the extra. Doobie in goal, Stalock as his backup, and that's the team. Luke Cunnin starting on IR. Gustav Olsson will clear waivers tomorrow, and there you go.
Is this illness something to be worried about?
They have a couple days to get better. I mean, it is just everybody is nasally and sick in that room, and they all say they think it was from being. I mean, it was 30 degrees and snowing apparently up in Camp Ripley the other day, and they flew up there in a couple Chinooks with the windows down or the back of it down, so they just feel like they all kind of got sick from that, but. Guys, listening to them talk today, it was hilarious. Just go on wild.com and listen to, look, I don't know if it's on there if they got video, but listen, Nate Prosser and Alex Stalock talk. It's like Kermit the Frog the way they were it's just funny. everybody. Greenway missed practice because of it, but about a dozen guys were under the weather.
I was wondering why we didn't have many live questions, but everybody's eating. But once you finish up your meal, you head over to the mic and ask Michael whatever you want.
Oh, my God.
Here we go. I guess while Vicky's got Phillips questions lined up and ready to go.
Granny's a superstar.
Tell you what, while Vicky's getting ready, let me tell you a little bit more about our Bite Squad deal. Bite Squad's the newest sponsor of the Talk North Podcast Network, delivering food from hundreds of Twin Cities restaurants. Order online at bitesquad.com or download their app. Get food to your door in minutes, and for a limited time, they're offering free delivery to our listeners on their first order by using the code TALKNORTH. One word, TALKNORTH. Bite Squad, food for your mood delivered. And again, you want to order some Delano's, that's even better. Vicky.
I actually have some of my own questions this time.
Oh, wow. This is dangerous, Michael.
Okay, but first I'm very proud to represent Philip. So here we go. We all know that Bruce won't keep the lines constant for any length of time. When it is time for a new spark in the lineup, what do you think about Parisi flipping with Zucker and going with Stahl and Granlund? Do you think their styles would blend well together?
Well, they played a bit together last year, if I remember correctly, Stahl and Parisi, and it wasn't the greatest. Parisi, it took him a while to get going last year, and every single line that he was on just turned into, defensive issues and things like that until he got up with Mikko, who had a great year defensively. And so, look, as you said, any time that he shortens the bench or changes things up, he's going to mix and match. And yeah, I mean, that's one where it would be an easy change, obvious fix and things like that. We've seen Zucker and Mikko look great in the past. Zucker seems to play well with a lot of different guys. Nino plays well with everybody. He seems to drive the possession on most lines. So, I think this year he's got plenty to work with. Even Eric Fehr the other night, he looks like somebody. I wrote in my story today on Fehr that I had to refresh my memory when I started looking up his numbers. His last year of junior in 2004-05. He scored 59 goals and 111 points to lead the Western Hockey League in both those categories. So he has skill. He's a big, powerful forward. Right shot, which is exciting to watch. He had a scoring chance the other night that Grubauer made an exceptional save on, or that game would have been tied earlier than it was. And just if you read my story today, read Boudreau's quotes on Eric Fehr, you just know that there's going to be a lot of times we're going to see late in games, maybe all of a sudden he doesn't want to play the rookies, and it'd be easy to move him up in that situation. I can almost guarantee you that late in tight games, we will see Greenway getting less ice time and Eric Fehr moving up to that third line, and maybe even Eriksson Ek taking a step back, depending on what's going on if Bruce wants to cut down to 9 forwards.
You think we might see Nino on the left of Stahl and Granlund?
That's another option. Nino likes playing offensively, coming down the right wing. But for him to like that, like I even said to him the other day, you need to shoot more. Like, it's one thing if you're going to play the right side coming in the offensive zone because you have that opportunity to shoot, do it. But he just seems to be allergic to taking that shot that we've seen anymore. To me, vintage Nino is him coming down that right wing for the game-winning goal in 2014 in Denver, and we just don't see that type of play anymore. He did play a little left wing the other night in Denver. He loved the spin move. He probably did that spin move coming into the zone like 4 different times, and one scored on it. So I think it was huge for him to score the other night too, because he was back in that, I'm not feeling good about myself stage.
I see J.T. Brown stayed up. Reed went down.
Mm-hmm.
I know Reed looked really good during training camp and into the preseason. Mm-hmm. What is J.T. Brown going to bring? Because I haven't really seen it yet.
Yeah, I mean, he had a breakaway the other night in Colorado. I think he's definitely a better skater, grittier, things like that. I think that probably JT at this stage definitely needs to just chillax. I'm sure that Bruce is in his head. I mean, even after the game in Colorado the other night, Bruce was giving it to him. And so I think Bruce wants to just let JT know that there's more in the tank and that we have these other guys, Rao and Reed, that maybe he personally would have rather kept. And so you are on guard here, and so give more. JT, when he was a college player, showed offensive skill. He looked awesome that Frozen Four here in St. Paul, and so you'd love to see more of that. But this is somebody a couple years ago when the Lightning went as far as they did. I mean, he was a big part of that team that went to the Stanley Cup final, and so they want to see that. So, but he's probably not going to play right now. He's going to need to prove himself into a lot to Bruce, I think, to play. And he needs to work hard on practice too. That means staying on the ice later and arriving earlier and things like that. Bruce sees that. The other day, I mean, Bruce was well aware that JT was third guy off the ice, and that's the type of thing JT probably needs to be aware of.
I want to hold good thoughts for him. Not that he's going to be another 55, if you know what I mean.
What's that?
I don't want him to be another 55.
55.
Wink, wink.
55.
Dumba.
Oh, well, I think a Dumba is 24.
So,
if JT Brown becomes another Dumba, the team got a pretty good player.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we could all say what we want about Dumba, but I mean, the guy he's a dynamic defenseman offensively. Defensively, he's got to be much better. Like the other night it was concerning.
Consistency.
I know that people think that like on Twitter that I was like picking on Dumba, but like freaking watch the game. Like it was unbelievable the mistakes he was making in that game. He just seemed to not be with it. So they need him to be a stud, because I'll tell you, man, if he plays like he did the other night with Suter, holy hell, will there be hell to pay.
Oh,
like
for
Suter
sure.
will let him have it. So
I agree.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vicky.
Good to know that Reed's in the wings, though. So that's good.
yeah, I mean Reed,
Awesome.
Rao, Klus, all those guys had
Good.
good camps.
Okay.
Awesome.
Awesome.
They're all Bruce's size, though. That doesn't help.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Vicky. Appreciate it. We want to thank FixologyRepair.com, jewelry repair, iPhone repair, cell phone repair, tablet repair, watch purchases, really cool stuff you can buy for gifts. Third floor of Mall of America, right by Nordstrom's. Also downtown in the Skyway in downtown Minneapolis, just south of the Wells Fargo Center. FixologyRepair.com.
There are some things in life that you just can't live without. Now, whether it's a special piece of jewelry, a watch, or even your smartphone, you want it in working condition. At Fixology Repair, we are committed to restoring your pieces so that everything works or fits the way it ought to. Watch servicing, chain repair, and broken screen replacements are just a few of the services that we offer at our 2 locations, Mall of America and the Skyway in downtown Minneapolis. Please visit us at FixologyRepair.com or at FixologyMN on Twitter to learn more. Mention this ad and get a 10% discount on our services.
And welcome. I messed that up, Michael. Welcome back. We are at Delano's Pizza. Remember, Delano's has great lunch specials, lunch buffets, happy hours. They're open very late at night. Come on by. A lot of big screen TVs, bubble hockey in the back. They have a great jukebox. They do trivia. Fully stocked bar with any kind of drink you would want, a lot of good craft beer. So check out Delano'sPizza.com. Order them through Bite Squad if you can.
And back to Fixology, my watch is still working. Thank you, John
there you
Hedges.
go. Thank you to John.
Yeah, about a month ago, I called John out on the podcast and begged him to fix my watch that was 5 minutes slow every other day, and he did it. So thank you.
Thanks to John, who always shows up for the shows as well. Do you go buy pot when you're in Denver?
No, I don't.
Have you considered it?
I am going to a winery on tomorrow night.
Are
though.
you?
Yeah. A couple that came on my Italy trip last summer, their son owns a winery.
Oh, really?
Outside Denver. So the whole traveling media party and I are going there tomorrow.
You know everybody.
Yeah.
And
I'm
sometimes
looking
you
forward
tell
to
us that you know everybody.
Yeah. It's going to be a wreck. So I got tomorrow, I got that. And then on Friday, I'm going to like a scotch and cigar night. And I'm on TV Saturday, so I won't look as handsome as I always do. What, Jim?
You got some looks. You got some very interesting looks
I don't
when
like
you said
that Bert's wife laughed.
I love that Bert's wife laughed. I actually think that she, I'd give her a better seat, but she already has the best seat in the house. From Dylan on Twitter, is this going to be the season the Wild actually falls to the bottom like all the predictions, or another year of squeezing in and falling short at the end goal of the Stanley Cup? How many points do you guess Parise ends with?
Boy, that's a lot of ridiculously negative questions here, Dylan. They either are going to finish last or eke in and lose in the first round again. And how many points does Parise have?
How many points? Give me a guess.
55 for Parise.
All right.
And I think they'll make the playoffs.
My stupid pick, which nobody wants to hear, I think
they
they finished about 6th to make the playoffs and then drive
I
everybody
really,
crazy.
I have a bad sense about this season.
Do
I
you?
just do. I don't know.
So
why.
you complain about the negativity, now you tell me they're going to fall on their faces.
Yeah, I think that they're not lucky enough to fall on their faces.
So what's a bad season by your
Missing the
measure?
playoffs.
Missing the
Yeah,
playoffs.
no
Missing
doubt.
the playoffs, but not badly enough to get a high draft pick.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just I do feel like there are a lot of improved teams right now, and I think that the Wild right now, they lack that pizzazz that a lot of other teams have. So,
Bert, fire away.
especially young pizzazz, like they just don't have it.
First of all, I wanted to compliment you on the articles on Craig Leopold and Eric Fair today. I thought they were
thank
really
you.
good. So
I appreciate it.
the Leopold one.
Yeah, I like Fair. He's going to be, I think, a go-to quote. And Leopold, that was cool of him to even give me that story. Obviously talking privately for a lot of the stuff that he's dealing with, but he's getting around, man. It's painful to watch him walk around. I'll tell you that. And if you didn't read that story, he had an infection in his hip and had to get the prosthesis out all summer. Finally is about to get the prosthesis back in, and they find out that the bacteria that was in his left hip is now in his right hip, and he's going to have to go through this entire thing again. So it's bad. But you know what? He went to New York today for the Seattle meetings with the league, and he's on the executive committee, and he gutted through it, and they made a recommendation to allow them to officially apply, due diligence, and then they can potentially in December vote to approve Seattle for a 2020 expansion. So that's good. 32 teams soon to be in the NHL.
Another cool city to visit.
Yeah.
I love Seattle.
Yeah, it'll be awesome.
Kind of to follow up with Vicky's question, how short are the leashes on some of these guys with the Wild? If there's guys in Iowa that are ready to come up, and it's nice that Brown's going to get scratched a lot, but at what point does he go down and someone else comes up?
Well, the problem is that that guy's got to play. If Brown's going to be the 13th forward, it's hard to call somebody up and send Brown down for no reason. You want guys down there playing. So, and again, Bruce doesn't make those decisions. Trust me, if Bruce made the decisions, Brown wouldn't be on this team right now. Reed would. And, sometimes, as I wrote in that story the day before that the cuts were, I'm like, I kind of warned you. I mean, look, we can write about Reed all camp long, but I've covered this league long enough to know that contracts rule the roost, and that is the reality. I love it every year when they're like, got 3 guys trying to make this team, and I wrote it before the camp started, how hard it is for these young guys to come in and know that they really have no shot at making the team, because guys on one-way contracts rarely go down, because owners don't like to sit there and pay guys $700, $680 to play in the minors. And so it's easy to say the leashes will be short, but if Brown is being scratched every night, he's going to probably just be scratched every night. If he comes into the lineup and is not very good, then Bruce could potentially complain. But the one thing I will say about Brown is he had speed, and that is my big concern with this team. They just don't look fast to me. Mikko, Parise, Stahl, they just don't look fast to me. And when you're playing Vegas and Winnipeg and Colorado and these teams, these are fast teams. And the other concern of mine is still Suter. I just think that we're going to see a very tough start to the season for Ryan. I just cannot imagine that he's going to be the same guy that he was before this injury, at least off the hop. So that's my opinion.
And then last comment is, it was a suggestion to Jim before you got here. Maybe videotape the podcast and set it for a small subscription fee, because your rant last week would have been great on that high def video.
Yeah, I was a little fired. I was a little fired up. I'm looking around with my head on a swivel to make sure that guy's not in here. One day it's gonna be all fun and games until I'm gunned down on the streets of Minnesota by somebody that I ripped or blocked.
We invited him to drop by about 7 o'clock when you were leaving. We thought that would be good timing.
Luckily, we have Officer Dominic here, who's, I'm sure, packing heat, right?
I'm sure that helps.
Got my own security.
Oh, hi. Go ahead. Introduce yourself and go right ahead.
Hi, my name's Haley. Just asking a question. I have my fantasy hockey draft tonight.
I just made the worst fantasy hockey trade ever, so I might be the worst person to ask this question.
I'm just wondering if you have any insights beyond like the predicted kind of values.
Like in terms of what? Like sleepers and things like that?
Yeah.
Well, if you want scoring, Koivu.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
God, I mean, we can go by team. Trying to think. Kerfoot on Colorado. That's kind of like I just think he's going to have a big year. Kashe on Anaheim, although he's a little banged up right now, I think he's going to have a big year. Defense, I like Colin Miller and Essa Lindell right now. I'm thinking of guys that maybe are going to break out. Clayton Keller, that is somebody that if you can get, he's going to have a monster season, I think. Young guys, I like Kyle Connor, Jack Roslovic up north. Trying to think. On Minnesota. Minnesota, they just don't score enough points, you know. It's funny, every year Bovada sends out their point over/under point predictions to me, and I read the Minnesota ones, and I'm like, how the heck do you have like Parisi at 50 and Koivu at 48 and you know, and you're like, this is insane. And then every year they seem to always be right. Like it is bookmakers are just ridiculous that way, you know.
They take the best because they take all the emotion out
of it.
It would have
been nice to go on the over with Stahl last year because I remember his was abnormally low. But Minnesota, you know, it's just you know, it depends what type of scoring you have in your fantasy draft. But like guys like Dumbo would be good on the blue line. Scores a bunch. And then at like every fantasy, you want to make sure that you don't go with the bad teams. Like if you have plus minus in your thing. I remember last year I'm in New York, and I had 3 guys on the Islanders on my team, and every time they were playing on the ice together, I'm like, this is either going to kill me or not kill me. And it was a Sunday. It was a Sunday game in New York. And all of a sudden, Zucker, they're on the ice with like a minute and a half left, and Zucker's out there. And Letty and Boychuk are on my fantasy team, and Anders Lee, and they're all out there together, and the puck is dumped in behind the net, and at the same time, Boychuk and Letty go behind the net to get the puck, and I was in the press box. I'm like, and then all of a sudden, pass to the front, Stahl the Zucker all alone goal, and I got -3 right there and lost my week. -3 just by Lee, Letty, and freaking Boychuk being on the ice together. So you can have too many guys also on one team if you have it on your fantasy. So that's one thing.
Thank you.
I think the key advice here is if you want fantasy advice, just forget everything you just heard.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a fantasy.
And go listen to Kevin Gorg.
Yeah.
Kevin will steer you right.
They are. I mean, both Dan and Gorg won their fantasy league last year. They're in like 50, but they won their fantasy league last year. I mean, they also cheat like you wouldn't have imagined. Like LePanta wrote this like 50-page CBA, which, by the way, CBA stands for Collective Bargaining Agreement. The CBA was written by LePanta. So every loophole in there he knows, and he bends the rules, man. But one stupid thing in this CBA is that we have a salary cap up until a couple days ago when we had our draft, and then there's no salary cap anymore. So like Dan and Gorg just like they spend up to their $230 or $40, and then all of a sudden they're like just acquiring like $50 players all season long, and then they won the freaking draft. They won the league.
Sounds
and
like
it's
cheating.
Just like insane, yeah. I traded him, Patrick Kane. So I just the bad trade I just made was with Dan.
Wow.
On the way here, I was at Starbucks. By the way, if Zach Pierce, my editor, is listening, the reason why you don't have my article yet for today is because I was making this trade the last hour.
You're fired.
Yeah. But essentially the two mainstays in the trade is I traded him Jamie Benn and I got Sean Couturier. So I'm really light on face-offs.
Thank you for the question. I'm glad you got him going. Somebody always gets him going. You're the person today.
It's official.
Thank you.
Anybody want to know what the Connors will love this. Anybody want to know the name of my fantasy hockey team? It's the freaking best name ever, with the greatest logo ever. The Hebrew Scribes. That's the name of my. That's the name. And I got a golf shirt with a little Israeli flag on it. It's awesome.
We need to have that. Needs to be a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Hebrew Scribes T-shirts.
Yeah.
We'll work on that. Why don't you bring you do it? You bring some. Oh yes. Tell you what, let me do one thing. We'll be right with you. Nice shirt, by the way. Thanks to Tony Hoagland, your State Farm agent Champlin. He handles my insurance. He handles Michael's insurance. HOAGLUND. Google him, and we recommend working with him as well.
Hey, Minnesota sports fans. This is your local State Farm agent Tony Hoagland. I need you all to ask yourselves this question. If you're in an at-fault car accident and you are sued for $700,000, how much of that $700,000 will my current insurance company pay? If you are unsure or can't answer all $700,000, you need to give us a call. State Farm has been #1 in car insurance since World War II and #1 in homeowners insurance since 1964. For a no-obligation review of your current policies, call us at 763-421-4900 or check out our website at www.champlininsurance.com.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so I asked the question about Prosser making the team a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Seeing that he made the team, really happy. But hearing your
so's my mother. She just texted me. She just texted me from I think she's in Prague right now, and it just says Prosser ? And I just wrote her back. I'm like, do you not read my Twitter account? So
that's what you should do when you're vacationing in Prague. Is read Michael Russo's Twitter feed.
So then, hearing your comment earlier about how a lot of the one-way contracts are the reason why players won't make the team, then why did Prosser beat out Olafson then at the end? Because Prosser does have a two-way contract, right?
Yeah. I mean, well, Olafson, to me, the Olafson thing was definitely going to happen. I mean, that poor kid had a tough go, dislocated his shoulder, and missed all of camp, and. To me, that wasn't the shocker, but at the end, it became very close between Murphy and Prosser. Now, they're both on two-way contracts, almost identical contracts, actually. But Olafson is just in a different boat with the whole one-way there. Like, they just couldn't, they are in a cap space situation where to just waste him on an 8th D and to have an 8th spot for a guy like him and waste cap space just made no sense. And the other thing is that if they're going to up his value, I mean, I was shocked. Bruce actually said it today. He goes, he basically said, if we're going to up his value on the trading block, and his agent's trying to get him traded out of here, he's got to play. And this guy barely played last year, and he barely played 2 years ago. So it's the only way to ever be able to get rid of this guy in a trade. And they're not trying to get even more than a 7th. They'd trade him for futures just to give him a fresh start elsewhere. But is to get him down to the minors and play. So that wasn't the big thing. But I will say at the end, Prosser versus Murphy was a very real debate inside the organization. And this, every time I talk about it like this, it makes it sound like Murphy's a bad guy and all, and he's not. He is the one thing about Murphy, he's liked on the team as well. But I do think that at the end of the day, they just figured, all right, Prosser's not even. He is starting as the 7th D right now, but he is so loved in that locker room that is it worth for a guy that's not even going to play on Thursday to sit there and start the season off in a bad boat with this roster, with the personalities in this locker room, by taking a guy that they absolutely love and respect and just say you're off the team? Like, it's almost like picking a fight for no reason. So since he's not playing at all, keep Prosser here. Murphy's getting through waivers. I mean, that was just obvious. So get him down there. And then now all of a sudden, if Dumbo or Spurgeon get hurt at some point here in the early going, you can almost guarantee that Murphy will be brought up and played. But to me, it was just one of those obvious decisions that they just needed to make this move. So that was kind of my opinion on that.
And then also the one preseason game that I made it out to this year at home.
It wasn't the Dallas game.
Was it the Dallas game?
That was the bad game.
Yeah, it was a bad game. But watching Kyle Rowell play, dude's got a lot of energy.
Yeah.
He reminds me a lot of Cal Clutterbuck.
Mm-hmm.
He's small, but he's going to go launch people on the boards.
Clutter was a different animal, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy.
He's insane.
He got 300 hits a year.
Yeah. What do you think his chances of getting called up are? Or, where is he in the order of,
Depends on the role. If you need a top 6 or 9 role, I mean, Reed's probably going to be in that camp. It makes more sense to me there. If you need a 4th-line role, he's the guy there. I think he's number 1, 2 on the totem pole, and it will be based on that and how they're playing and health down there. He could play in multiple wing positions and things like that. I like Kyle. But he is probably he's an in-betweener. He's one of those guys. I don't think he'll ever be a regular in the NHL, but there are just certain guys that are that way. It's a shame. I like Rao. I covered him in college. Great kid. But he's just probably kind of in between. Like if he was a little faster and had a couple more inches, he'd probably be a full-time NHLer. But he's just not that right now.
And then this question just came to me right now. Is a couple of years ago I got to go to the Stadium Series game that we had. What is the league's vendetta against Minnesota? The atmosphere there and everything. The alumni game was great. The game itself was fantastic, aside from the hit that had Zucker carted off the ice. But
I don't even remember that.
What is it going to take to? Oh, I remember it because there was a very obnoxious Blackhawks fan behind me that was saying that he was being carted off the ice in a body bag, and my very quiet friend, I thought, was going to snap on him. So it was.
The only thing I remember, didn't Ryan Carter score the first goal of the game or something? I think
I'm pretty sure he did.
But I don't think it's so much the league as I just think NBC makes these decisions on how much they got to sell. They want to make. Not only do they want to sell advertising. This is a big draw for them to make a big bucks in advertising, and they feel that nationally the Wild don't sell. Now locally they do. Locally the Wild's ratings are sensational, and that's why they steal the Max games from the Wild every single year. Steal's the wrong verb, but nationally, if you're Minnesota, we're seeing it even with the editor. I think the perception out there is the Wild just have this vanilla team, and you can't. It's even though it's the same teams every single year, advertisers don't get enthused by, all right, hey, the Minnesota Wild are going to be on the in the Winter Classic, where I think it's ridiculous. I agree with you. I think that the fans here deserve a Winter Classic, but that's the way it is right now.
Thanks for being here again. We appreciate it. Let's do a few more Twitter questions. I do have a bunch of business.
What we haven't talked about is the goal song being changed.
I was about to bring that up.
Yeah.
Let me mention we have a bunch of business cards with the promo code from Bite Squad on them. If you need a reminder or you want to hand them out to your businesses or your friends, whatever, we could use the help. I was going to ask you why you hate Prince.
I do.
He's on the record. He hates
the worst
Prince.
Goal song in the league. Honestly.
Vicky's yelling at you now. Vicky's not happy with this.
It's a horrific goal song. Crowd chant, a lot of fans don't like that, but at least they're clapping with it and doing the stupid raw. The whole Prince is just it's brutal. It was not a good goal song. They'll play Prince during the games. My God.
Michael's getting booed in his own show. I like this. We need more of this.
A show of hands.
Oh, we're going to go democracy on it.
Do you think it's good? Don't even think about the two songs that might be the next goal song. Do you think it's good? Do you think it's good that they're changing "Let's Go Crazy" from the goal song? Wow, I'm shocked. Not as many as I thought. John,
about half and half.
Chris, you're not a fan of it, right? Did you see all my things? They all said that they were all excited. Chris, what was the question that you asked me last week that just threw me for a loop? I can't remember. Oh, it was the thing about politics. Good question.
Did anybody answer your question about how you injured your finger?
No.
You want to elaborate on that?
Well, it's funny. Who was I telling the other day? I'm wondering if it was for you. I wonder if it was Dominic. I was telling somebody the other day. Who was I telling? I was telling oh no, it was when I was on that the flow, and I was telling those guys how when you're old, because they kept on calling me a baby boomer, these bastards that you have on your podcast network. So these guys, they kept on calling me old. So I told them, first of all, I will admit that, yes, I'm older than you. And when you will, and I was telling these guys, they're all excited. They're telling me all about their wild days as young. And I'm like, there will come a point where you will not feel good anymore. That getting out of bed will be a struggle. That you'll get hurt walking off a curb. Things hurt.
Yeah, but see, older. I think these things happen to you when you're 21.
Yeah, that's probably true. But yes, I injured my finger yesterday putting on a sock. So, yes.
Putting on a sock.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. You're saving this, right, Brandon? We're clipping this?
And that's
we
like
can
my
put this to good use.
That's like my hunt and peck middle finger too.
And now you're going to go down to the locker room and you tell these guys, how can you not play through a broken fibula?
Exactly. So.
On a sock.
It was a tight sock.
Good question, by the way,
Got
Chris.
trapped.
That was the highlight of the show. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was perfect.
I offered somebody a free dinner if they figured it out.
That is fantastic. Who would want to figure that out?
Just saying. It was pretty. To me, it was obvious that it was not. Especially when I said how I hurt my right middle finger. It was obvious. It was not going to be something as obvious as me flipping off a biker on the Stone Arch Bridge
on a sock.
Although that's happened a couple times.
From Sam Randall on Twitter, what's your take on the Nylander contract situation in Toronto? Would he be a potential trade target for the Wild or anybody else?
I'd take him, but man, I mean, the Wild would have to give up dollar for dollar. I mean, he wants big money right now, and so you'd have to trade, a couple big money guys. And right now, when you look at the Wild and you look at their big money guys, I mean, they've committed now to Zucker, they've committed to Dumba. I don't think they would like to get rid of Granny, so. The guys would be Coyle, Nino, Brodin, probably next up on the trade rumor a-thon.
Interesting. From Wallace on Twitter, Wallace Iceberg, what is Nick Seeler's ceiling?
I'm going to write about him Thursday. A ceiling I don't know, but I just think that he's a heck of a defenseman. He's had a heck of a camp. I'm finally writing that story. I think I've told this a couple times now that I sat down now 2 or 3 weeks ago with Nick and his dad, but we've just kind of held the story at The Athletic just for more eyes on the Wild, now that everybody's getting, excited that they're opening the season. But I just think it's an awesome story that here's a guy that in an organization where it's very hard for a lefty to hop up the depth chart behind Suter and Brodin. Here's somebody that just catapulted from being a low man on the depth chart to now being, to the point that he essentially excelled or parachuted above, guys like Olofsson, Soucy, Riley, people like that.
From Kyle on Twitter, any recommendations for a name for the coming Seattle team, and who should the Wild expose? We have our first expansion draft question for Seattle. I'm fired up.
Who should they expose?
Way ahead of the curve.
Expose. Well, we have to think in a couple years who's going to be on their team. Obviously, it can't be Parise or Suter. Koivu will be going into his UFA year, so it can't be him. So, again, we're going to have the same guys. It's going to be Greenway will need to be Greenway, yes, would need to be exposed. Eriksson Ek, Zucker, Granlund, Dumba, all those guys would have to be in that situation. So that'll be interesting.
From Jake Walker, I'm starting to lay the groundwork for a sort of hockey pilgrimage from Atlanta to the Twin Cities. I'm probably coming sometime next NHL season to see this show at Delano's Pizza. What else should I do? Tell you what, email us. We will give you a bunch of recommendations, but we'd love to see you out at Delano's. That would be a blast. From BSteph12 on Twitter, any chance the Wild put in claims on the 2 goalies claimed on waivers today? Why not?
Well, they were picked up on waivers, so you can't claim them. They were both picked up, and why would the Wild do that? They have Stalock and Dubnyk.
And another person who's right on point here, Jacob Burkhart, who do the Wild lose in the Seattle expansion draft? I love the fact that hockey fans think that far ahead.
Or what prospect do they throw in to not take Dumba?
Let's do one more Twitter question. I do want to thank our sponsors one more time. Delano's Pizza, downtown Minneapolis, right by Ramp C, also in Woodbury. Bite Squad, bitesquad.com, or use the Bite Squad app. The promo code is TalkNorth, one word for a free first delivery. We would really love people to take advantage of that and to order Delano's through Bite Squad if you can. Thanks to Twill in the Edina Galleria, WizKids.tech in downtown Minneapolis, Fixology Repair, third floor of the Mall of America and downtown in the Skyway, and Tony Hoagland, your State Farm agent, who works out of Champlin, but he can work with you wherever you happen to be. Let me make sure this is a good one here. From Luke Reachins, longtime listener, do you expect the Wild to have a better season than they did last season?
Well, last year they had 101 points. I would pick the under. Again, if they make the playoffs, I just don't see them being above Winnipeg or Nashville, and so now you got St. Louis, Colorado, Dallas, Chicago. You know what a game changer in this division is if Crawford's suddenly back. That would change, potentially things for Chicago. But 101 points. I think a lot of things had to go right for the Wild to get that many last year. So
I thought Bruce did a great job.
Yeah, I did too. Again, they were decimated by injury from start to finish. So.
All right, we will go to Michael Russo for a final not thought because he never comes up with
anybody have any
thought.
other questions?
Okay, yeah. Vicky's got a question.
Yeah, you're at you went over your allotment.
Oh wow. She already booed you. Now she's going to smack you. Go ahead, Vicky. I give you permission.
How many? How come you don't eat the oranges in your Blue Moon? That's the best part. Yeah, but then you eat it after. That's the best part of the Blue Moon. Wow, what is with your
taste? He's such a know-it-all.
Let's go
crazy. He's the world's biggest know-it-all.
Yeah.
You bring him vegetables, he criticizes your fruit.
Yeah. So what's your question?
How did you rate the Wild for the Athletic?
That's what. In that thing, I put them in my top. Well, if you're asking if they were in the top 6, I think I put them like 12th or 11th. Yeah. I mean, that to me is a power ranking. It's not technically how they're going to finish top 31. It's how going into the season they are. At least that's the way that I take power rankings. So, or construe them.
All righty. Hey,
hey, what do you? Let me ask you.
Yes.
Molitor today. Your initial thoughts. And here's the funny story. So somebody said to me the other day, they were like, "Oh my God, the Joe Mauer situation. It was incredible." Blah 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 blah. And then he said, "You couldn't have scripted it better." And I'm like, the whole freaking thing was scripted. Everything about it was scripted. I mean, it was emotional. It was wonderful, but. I mean, my God, his kids ran on the field. Most of the time, security would stop a couple kids running on the field. I would think that was scripted. The whole
it was absolutely scripted. I thought it was a good script, but it was scripted.
Catcher's gear, touching his heart, takes the ball, walks out for 5 minutes and hugs the pitcher. I mean, the whole thing was scripted. But it was really emotional. And then, so what do you think of the Mauer?
Listen, all the Mauer stuff was scripted, absolutely. Yeah. But I thought it was really well done.
I thought it was too.
I thought it was great.
I told Miko today. I said, Wild better do that for you when you come here. I want to see, like in the middle of the game, the kids just sprint out in the middle of the ice. And you know,
as far as the Molitor thing, just filed a column in the Star Tribune that'll be in tomorrow's paper. Probably be online a little bit later. I have a lot of different thoughts. First of all. It goes back to this. Falvey and Levine get the job. They didn't want Molitor as their manager.
Yeah.
They had him under contract for one more year. The Twins organization.
This sounds familiar.
Yeah. The Pohlads and Dave St. Peter are like, hey, we're not going to fire Molitor to clear the way for you. You get him for 1 year, then we can make a decision. Well, then they have a
good year.
A good year, and then so.
Yeah, they had that huge playoff run.
Right. So last year they have this huge playoff run. It comes out of nowhere. He wins the manager of the year.
That's being sarcastic.
I know. They can't fire him.
It's absurd that they're even considered that they made the playoffs last year. A one-game playoff is not making the playoffs.
It is actually literally making the playoffs.
Oh, please.
It's literally making the playoffs.
Please.
Unless you don't want to call it a playoff.
That's insane. It should not be a playoff. One game and you're done, and they made the playoffs?
It's the best part of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Anyway. So Molitor saves his job. They know that they have to sign him. Molitor won't sign for fewer 3 years, so they have to give him a 3-year deal, knowing in their hearts that if it doesn't go well the next year, they just are giving away a lot of money because they're going to fire him. They have the downturn this year. There were some. They didn't like the way some of the young players responded to the staff. I think there were some Molitor acolytes on the coaching staff and some Falvey Levine people on the coaching staff, and those two groups didn't mix very well, and I think Molitor got held accountable for that. Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of little reasons why they moved on from it, but the big picture is they never really wanted Molitor as their manager, and as soon as they got the opportunity to bring in their own person, they're going to bring in their own person.
And that always happens. I mean, again, that's
just the business.
That's the business, and that will happen to Bruce. I mean, it might not happen next year, it might happen in the middle of this year, but at some point, Fenton will get his guy behind the bench. That's just the way it works, and that's why a lot of times you're almost better just pulling the plug to begin with. But I will say a lot of GMs almost want that scapegoat ability. It gives you one free year to suck, and then all of a sudden, I remember, who was it? Was it Tim Murray? I can't remember what it was, but it happened basically in Buffalo, where it's like Tim was like, whoever his first coach is, like, let him be the sacrificial lamb, and then I'll go get my guy, and that happens all the time.
You know where else it happened?
Yeah.
The Vikings fire Brad Childress. Leslie Frazier kind of guides them through a messy end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
They like the way he did it. They keep him around, fully expecting to fire him really quickly. And then, what? Don't interrupt my story.
Yeah.
So they plan on firing him, and then Leslie takes that 2012 team, which wasn't considered very good, to the playoffs, so they have to sign him to a contract, and then as soon as they can, they fire him and bring in their guy, who is Mike Zimmer. What?
Tell me that bothers you, Brandon, as much as it's bothering me.
You're like my wife. You can't stand it.
My God, you're going to break your computer. It's not going to work. The strip's going to be pissed. He just shut down his computer with like 10 things open. Then he gets that blue screen that says shut down anyway. You got 10 things open, and then he shuts it down anyway.
You know why I shut it down so quickly?
Why?
I'm sick of talking to you. Let's get out of here.
Wait, I had a good. So my Miko conversation, I was telling him, and then I as I was walking away, I said to Miko, I said one of my favorite things to do during the preseason is to shoot the breeze with you, because I know that in about 3 weeks that this will never happen again. Like he's so chill in training camp, and then it's like.
Another Vikings parallel,
Yeah.
Scott Studwell as a player, you could talk to him in the offseason.
Yeah.
He would not even look at you during the season.
Yeah. See, I did have a couple final thoughts.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good. Nice seeing you. See you in a couple weeks.
Hey, thanks to everybody.
Assume that in like two weeks.
Give Michael a hand. It's good for his ego. Yeah, well, you know what? We haven't picked a time for the next show yet, but it'll be about 2 weeks. We'll put it out on social media, and we'll mention it on our next show. So, hey, thanks to everybody who came out. Thanks to everybody who listens. We do appreciate it, and we'll do another show next week.
Pretty little city built on a hillside. Music in the bars and fire in the sky. We went to the beach and it was covered in ice. And I used to call it home. So much coming out, there's nothing going in. I know that you feel like you're never gonna win. Oh, but the world won't forgive a winner.
Yes, I injured my finger yesterday putting on a sock.
Now is the chance to use reliable energy to grow your money with the Dominion Energy Reliability Investment. Our new investment product offers competitive returns, no maintenance fees, and flexible online access to your money. Make the reliable investment in reliable energy. The Dominion Energy Reliability Investment. To find out more, go online to reliabilityinvestment.com. That's reliabilityinvestment.com. Now is the chance to use reliable energy to grow your money with the Dominion Energy Reliability Investment. Our new investment product offers competitive returns, no maintenance fees, and flexible online access to your money. Make the reliable investment in reliable energy. The Dominion Energy Reliability Investment. To find out more, go online to reliabilityinvestment.com. That's reliabilityinvestment.com.